Good morning. Good morning, Omas. Good morning to all our clients, viewers, everybody out there. Omas, we made it to the end of the week. It's Friday. Made
You
it.
have,
Oh my gosh.
you can say that again, Rotus. You can say that again. It
Oh,
shows that
oh,
it tells you when you put the mind to it, what you can really achieve. That's what it means. Honestly,
ah,
this week
it's
has
sleep.
been
Oh. I'm achieving sleep. I'm achieving sleep this weekend, though. My word.
okay.
Omas,
You know
it's
what
been a
I
rough week. It's been a
when I
rough week.
started this, I was starting the show this morning. I had to say something that it is while you sleep that you set the agenda for the next day. And it's like taking your car to the mechanic for servicing. That's it. So you are
But my
going,
car, my car is even due for servicing now. And you know all the oil is imported.
yeah.
So voila.
But one
Fisayo,
man who,
Fisayo, good morning.
one man who looks like he had himself a doze and a buffet of sleep is Fisayo. Fisayo, good morning to you. Welcome.
Morning. Good morning, Omas. I want to wax lyrical about sleep today. I don't know what's happening.
Man, it's Friday. Oh, I'm really happy it's Friday because I've had a tough week, man.
Oh, Rotus, well done. So, guys,
Let's get in.
Let's get in now. So we need our listeners to know they can be part of this conversation by sending in WhatsApp messages to 0809-444-0981 WhatsApp messages. Rotus, talk to me. I see Dr. Bosun Tijani has been having meetings in New York with AWS officials and talking about expansion. What's this all about?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a full delegation in New York on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly. I just thought we would focus on, for the purpose of Tech Friday, the Dr. Bosun Tijani, Minister of the ICT Minister, Digital Economy, is, taking he's having lots of meetings. And, I'm wondering what he should be focusing on. Is it deals that can bring better broadband infrastructure to Nigeria? Is it a skills program to improve, the skills base in Nigeria? What should he be focused on? Fisayo, what should the ICT minister? That was that AWS is Amazon Web Service, I mean, that? I'm so tired, I can't remember anything. So what should he be? What do you make of the trip? What do you think he should be focused on? What do we need?
Sincerely, he had mentioned I was going to unveil. It was going to unveil the roadmap for Nigeria's Nigeria's digital strategy. I'm not sure he has done that. So again, it's hard to figure out what is what the plan essentially is. But here he had mentioned that he's meeting AWS. He had mentioned earlier that was looking for professionals to set the course for Nigeria's AI strategy, right? So I believe that from AWS perspective, it's probably going to be some training around digital economy, some training around artificial intelligence, and of course, say other tech type training. That's number one. Number two, what I think that it should be focusing on, I think I've seen someone talk about repositioning NIPOST. I believe that NIPOST is directly under its supervision as it were, or leveraging the spread of NIPOST, to be so maybe some delivery infrastructure for Nigeria, and of course essentially for Nigeria as it were. And of course, I think the other things are going to be things around identity management. Of course, I know National Identity Management, Commission. I'm not sure which ministry they report to. Maybe it's
I think they moved it to Interior. Yeah.
Yeah, but some of those things can be largely technology driven. I want to see Nigeria move from. I want to see Nigerian police again. This is just from a digital economic perspective. I want to see Nigerian police leverage technology in fighting crimes. I want to see people I want to see Nigerian police do forensic type evidences. I want to see camera analysis. I want to see just a lot more rather than where we are today, where there's little or no digital footprint when it comes to, say, fighting crime or investigating crimes, as it were. Right. I want to see all of those collaboration among ministries to ensure that, yes, some of these things are possible. I mean, one of the staff that work at my house was a victim of, say, of in quotes, one chance. She did everything right. Went to the bus stop, saw a bus marked yellow. Entered into it, saw people there, saw women in the bus, right? About all the small buses, not the big ones, but the small.
That's what they call Korokbe, sort of. Yeah, that's it. If I'm a street person, yeah.
Yeah, so did everything right. So she was at the place she should be. She was at the bus stop, a major bus stop on the mainland here. Entered the bus, looked into it, saw people already in it, right? Not all men, sitting at the window side. Again, did everything she needed to do.
Yes.
Only to discover that, yes, that bus had everyone inside that bus were arranged there just for the purpose of defrauding her or beating her up and getting everything she had. So again, and this kind of crime has gone uninvestigated because no one knows, where the bus is from, and of course the bus will be tomorrow. Again, so these are some of the things that I feel that, from a digital strategy perspective, from security camera perspective, from just different things that can be done, right? I don't know if the federal ministry can deploy that. I mean, maybe this is a Lagos State government indictment rather than the minister's indictment. But again, we'll figure out all of this. I want to see.
Fisayo,
but I guess
all right, Fisayo,
to
if I may come in here, I just want to. While Rotus was making in the opening remark earlier, and he talked about the need to leverage on technology, and he mentioned internet penetration. And this calls to mind the Equinox cable that had arrived in Nigeria a while ago. So we're asking now it just seemed like one idea comes and bounces off the other. What's really the position of that cable since it's arrived, and with it helping to boost penetration of internet in the country?
Just because a cable has arrived does not mean they've connected the cable
yes.
to,
yes.
to the country. So there's still a lot of work. And if you say, go ahead, there's still plenty of work to go on.
Yes. So the cable arrives at the shore of Nigeria, so it needs to go through the country, as it were. And of course, Nigeria it's a big country, for all intents and purposes, right? So I guess that's one of the bigger problems. So we need to spend money on infrastructure, digital infrastructure, and of course, by spending that much money, right, you have to figure out how to make the returns, right? Because it's not charity, as it were.
Yes.
So that's why people argue that you don't need broadband internet in places that don't require it, because the investment required to make broadband internet available in different places maybe is overweighs the potential, say, returns from those places. Again, you have to figure out how to balance those across the country. But to have decent internet penetration across country is required, to ensure that cameras on the road are not only looking for drivers that their driver's license have expired, so they can find them 20,000 naira for every offense you see. That needs to change. We need to see that those same cameras are used or spread across a lot more. To ensure that, yes, issues like kidnapping can be addressed using some of those things. You can see this is where the car passed through. This is the car here. This is where you picked people from. This is where you went through. This is where you dropped them. And after dropping them, this is where you went to. So those are the kind of investigation I want to see policemen do, rather than, not knowing anything. And then, of course, the people continue the perpetration the following day, or just on their way back. I think it's particularly very shameful for a state like Lagos to have that.
Rotus, take us to Apple. We hear that they'll be releasing the Apple's iPhone 15 goes on sale.
Omas, can we skip that? Can we quickly jump to Rishi Sunak and electric vehicles? Can we quickly jump to the delay that the UK? Yeah, if you want to announce that to the. Okay, fine.
Yes. So go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it is saying that Rishi Sunak is delaying the petrol cars ban as a major shift on green policies. That's one of the reasons they're given. So what's the reason for this? And
yeah, I think that's a very important topic. I think he's said that the transition to net zero and the climate change plans the UK is well ahead, and he doesn't want to punish UK citizens. He's doing this right before an important. Next year is going to be incredible. US elections, UK elections. 2024 is going to be everything. I think even South Africa is having elections next year. So there was a ban on petrol cars from 2030. He pushed it back to 2035. There was also a ban on fossil oil boilers, these things that people use to heat up their homes in the UK. They run on fossil fuels. They were going to ban that in 2026. They pushed that by 9 years to 2035. So they've just decided, he just said that, look, we shouldn't be punishing people. We should give more time. The automobile industry is very happy to hear it. Fisayo, what are your thoughts on this shift in green policy from Sunak in the UK?
I mean, I wish we can get towards 2025 because 2035, because I see another shift from 2035, right? I think that that's sort of how I want to look at it. Alternative energy is expensive. It's significantly expensive, compared to fossil fuel, right? And until we improve technology, that makes so you see, when the way I view competition, you don't ban one for one. The other becomes uncompetitive and is forced to change strategy, right? And it's forced to change. So if alternative energy is competitive, then you don't need to ban fossil fuel for it, right? It means that the change will happen naturally because this is cheaper for me to use. Okay, if it's cheaper, it means that I have to get an electric vehicle rather than I have to then ignore utilities to my house because I can use solar energy. I have to do all of those things because it is competition between two sides. You don't choose one. You don't punish your citizen because of one. You don't and of course, the climate Armageddon. I mean, people are saying that the earth will boil over in 6 years. It's absolute nonsense. It's not going to happen. So all the fear mongering that climate activists are trying to push.
You started. We
die in 6 years. What kind of nonsense is that? It makes no sense.
Fisayo, calm down now. Let's go. Take it easy now.
It doesn't make any sense. I'm not talking about the Rotus. I'm saying that climate activists that claim that we're going to die in 6 or 10 years. It makes no sense. It's not going to happen. Flood has been happening.
They didn't say 10. They didn't say 6 to 10 years. They said the temperature is increasing.
But then that doesn't take away the fact that the impact of climate change on the environment is telling, and nobody can deny that. The rising water level, the melting of the ice cap in the northern pole, it's there to see.
Well, the sea levels have been rising since forever, right? So what do you do? What happens? Let me explain what happens is that what are we doing to reverse? So are you saying that what we're doing is actually going to reverse it? Don't forget that the biggest emissions, China and is the US. The US is making itself uncompetitive, which is fine. There's a problem. But China is not having this conversation. India is not having it. Indonesia, Vietnam, those are the bigger economies of the future. They're not having this conversation because again, the US grew on fossil fuel. You want to make me uncompetitive because of that. It's not going to happen. That's number one. Number two is going to be the fact that anything you do is going to reverse the cost. It's going to make our content a lot colder, right? What do you need to invest to ensure that change doesn't happen? The reasonable thing to do is that human beings figure out a way to adapt. Right, to build. I mean, my house is in a place that is maybe flood prone, for instance. What the builders of this place did is that raise the my compound level first. Then, of course, built the function is setting with that from my compound is raised from the road, from my compound to my house. I have to climb stairs to get there. That's adaptation. That's what people do.
Gentlemen, we have to go.
So it's not. Saying that
it will always be an ongoing conversation, but I would love to have a Fisayo come face to face with Greta Thunberg, and let's see how it will pan out.
She'll finish him. She'll finish him.
It's an insult for me. It's an insult for me to a 16-year-old that knows absolutely nothing. That's
Fisayo, can we get some more messages now? Okay, Fisayo, let's team down now.
I won't talk to her. I won't talk to her. I mean, you guys are giving her so much responsibility.
Can I get in some message, Fisayo, please?
Okay. You gotta learn.
Tayo sent in a message. I wonder how practical all these initiatives expected from the ministry can be if there is no stable power. I think there's responsibility for the Interior Ministry as well. And then I've got Jacob from okay, this is not our message. I've got Yinka Bolu with a message for us here saying, Fisayo, they don't need broadband internet where, ladies and gentlemen, one elitist identified here, laugh out loud. Net zero or not, we need to understand that the forms of energy are there to complement each other. Nuclear energy is still in use till today. Omas, have you been to the North Pole before? Where is it located? How cheap are the electric vehicles or the cars? Yinkaboli is asking. Let's be realistic. I beg for once you get someone on your side, Fisayo on this one. And then Austin comes in. There are green and yellow cables you just talked about have been dug out by road construction workers. Many of them are above the ground in different places in Lagos. That could be another abandoned project. Austin from Satellite speaking there. And one message for you, Taufik says Fisayo should drink a cup of water. The temperature is rising. Next time we get water close to you, Fisayo. And our final message here comes in, says,
Fisayo's climate change is rising.
When it comes to technology in Nigeria, you are on your own. Large chunk of our leaders are not tech savvy, so not much is expected from them. They are very good at installing cameras for capturing expired vehicle papers. Atsenuwa, Babatunde allow. That's our final message for this one. Even though Yinka Bolu is typing, he go type tire. Now, Rotus, thank you very much.
We're getting Greta Thunberg on the show next week. I'm going to reach out to her and send her a message.
Fisayo,
she's honest. She knows nothing about what she's talking about.
Fisayo, have a great day, Fisayo. Fisayo, a cup of water would do a great deal. All right. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye. And that's the size of Business Express, the Friday Tech edition. We ask you to join us next Friday. We'll be here for you. My name is Omatseye Atsenuwa. Good morning.